Before this video begins, guys, I'd like to say there is no major spoilers to Rosario Vampire. It's been out for a while, though, so if you haven't read it, don't worry. Nothing too crazy is revealed. There is, like, very minor, minuscule spoilers, none that would ruin the series for you. And also, I'd like to thank you guys so much for the support I've been receiving recently on the channel. Very grateful, and let me know if you guys want to see more review-style videos like this one. And now, onto the video. One more quick thing, this is my first time doing a scripted video where I write the script and read it, so if it sounds a little stiff, I'm sorry. I promise you it'll get better in the future. Without further ado, here's the video. What is Rosario plus Vampire? First of all, if you don't know what it is, then have you been living under your parents' house for the last 10 years? Don't answer that. On the surface, Rosario Vampire appears to be another generic manga with a plot about a seemingly average protagonist somehow wooing all the hottest girls in his school. And the anime is basically that. However, the manga is much more than that. It begins with our protagonist finding himself an average lame human, aka Tsukune, enrolling in a school made for monsters. He soon meets the main heroine, Moka Akihisa, who is a terrifying, life-sucking vampire. However, on the surface, she's just a gorgeous goddess that all the boys in the school worship. Somehow, she ends up getting interested in our lame protagonist. They soon find out that Tsukune is the only one who can remove her rosary to unleash her true power. But, what makes the story different from most other harems? Let's start with the first point, characters. When you first see new characters in this manga, they may seem like your usual boring cast for a harem, but as time goes on in the series, they grow into something much more than that. For example, when you meet our protagonist Tsukune, he isn't very likable, and to be quite frank, he's kind of boring. But by the end of the series, he is the complete opposite. He grows into a remarkable, rememberable, likable, monster-slaying badass of a character. Also, unlike other harems where all the girls solely focus on the main character, all the characters form friendships with each other rather than fighting over the main character the whole time. Though, believe me, there is a lot of that throughout the story. My personal favorite character is Kumudu. The reason Kumudu is my favorite is because she grew on me the most as a character, and I also arguably think that she had the biggest growth out of all the characters in the manga. She starts by only wanting to enslave the boys at her school, but ends up genuinely caring for both, not only Tsukune, but all of his friends, and that's key there. Key. You'll find that most characters grow on you as the story goes on, and it's fun to watch them change into the character they end up as at the end. You'll even sometimes find that they'll add a character that you dislike at first, only for them to grow to you later. Another interesting character is Moka. She is basically two personalities. When she has the rosary on, she's known as Outer Moka, and with it off is Inner Moka, which creates interesting situations and plot lines towards the end. Which comes to our next point, story/plot. The story is kind of plain at first. While they're introducing characters, it's the same thing. Some monster gets jealous of Moka and Tsukune, they kidnap Moka, or start beating up Tsukune. Tsukune gets saved by Moka, rinse and repeat. But about halfway through the first season, the plot really takes off with the main bad guy organization showing their face, and Tsukune wanting to get stronger and getting stronger. Season 2 of the story really changes things up. The author Akihisa Ikeda decided to focus on other characters other than Tsukune. At first I didn't like the idea where there was less Tsukune Moka action, but after reading the whole series I really like how the author wrote the second season, and I really enjoyed learning new things about the side characters and their personal growth. Also, the comedy in the series left me laughing out loud multiple times. I was actually very surprised about how funny some moments are in this manga, and they really had a good balance between comedy and serious moments, and they gave the story a pretty good charm. None of the volumes were really boring to read, but the first few of chapters 1 and 2 were a little slow, but when you reach the last 4 volumes of season 4, oh man, it gets so good. I couldn't put the books down, honestly, and it got to the point where I started reading the last 4, and by the time I got done with the 4th volume, or of the final 4. I realized it was 2 o'clock in the morning and I had to wake up for work 3 hours later, but I didn't care because it was so good. So yeah, it's definitely worth reading. I will say the ending and some of the plot lines are pretty unpredictable. I wasn't expecting some of the things that happened. Of course, the smaller stuff like the chapter skirmishes were kind of predictable, but the main story and stuff revealed about characters is pretty unpredicting, which I really enjoyed. Now that brings us to our final point, or second and final point, art. The art style of Rosario Vampire is your regular art style, pretty much what you usually see in Shonen Jump manga. However, I really liked how they pulled off the action scenes. They were very, very well done and very fluent, and I didn't really have a hard time following along what's going on, which sometimes when you're reading manga, you kind of get lost in the action and kind of have to look at it real closely. But they did a really good job. And I was really impressed that how the author pulled it off and his assistants in drawing this manga, and I just really think they did a good job, and they definitely deserve a lot of credit for what they pulled off here. Now for the final point, the synopsis. Even if you're not a fan of romance comedies, I definitely still recommend this series. It was a fun, entertaining action series that left me with a warm feeling afterwards. Oh, and yes, the ending was pretty good and worth reading too. Also, it's better than the anime, obviously, because most of the time manga is better than anime, but it's just the way it is. But if you love the anime, you'll definitely want to read the manga. Even if you're not into manga, you're just into anime, definitely read the manga. I didn't cover a lot of the faults of the manga, and believe me, there were a few, but I'll probably make a separate video going over what I didn't like about the series. However, with that said, I still think it's a 9 out of 10 manga for me, and I think it's perfect to me even with its flaws. But it's definitely worth your time to read all 24 volumes. There is a box set. It's kind of hard to track down for a decent price, but if you can find it, I definitely recommend you get it. However, if you can't find it, the Viz app has you covered, aka not sponsored. They have all the volumes available to read, but if you've already read the series and don't remember what happened because it's been a while, I strongly recommend that you go back and reread it. It is so good, and all in all, it left me with a warm feeling inside, and I hope all you enjoyed as much as I did, and it will always have a place in my heart for being responsible for me getting into manga and anime in the first place. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you guys like this kind of style of video, let me know. It is a lot of work, a lot of editing, a lot of pulling stuff together. I'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe and consider liking. It'd mean a lot to me, and to all you guys who already have, thank you so much. You guys are what keep me going day to day, and I hope I can bring more videos like this to you in the future. Thank you guys for watching, and see you guys next time. Bye.